Hello, crafty friends. This is Lea Lawson, and I'm thrilled to be on the Greetery YouTube channel again, introducing the new Star Stream product suite. Now, here are the different offerings available in this product suite. You have a hot foil plate, the cover plate die, coordinating stencils, a fantastic 3D embossing folder, and then this great sentiment set. Now, the sentiment set also has a coordinating die for cutting out all of those wonderful sentiments. This is such a fun set, and I foresee myself using it time and time again in the future. So we're going to start by hot foiling with the Star Stream hot foil plate. If you haven't hot foiled before, here is just a quick overview. First things first, turn your hot foil system on and then put your hot foil plate and wait for that green light to turn on. That's how you know your hot foil system is ready to go. Now, my hot foil plate is silver. I believe that the final product will be a gold color. So just ignore the color of my hot foil plate, but it will still work exactly like yours. Once the hot foil system is all heated up, we will start the hot foiling process. So the first thing that I do when I hot foil is I like to remove the platform from the base so that you don't get any haloing or shifting of your sandwich. Then you put the foil pretty side down. I chose a really sparkly gold foil. Add your cardstock and then the two shims that come with the Glimmer Hot Foil system. Now that frosted green shim is the one that is heat resistant, so it is the one that should be closest to the heat source. Then gently run it through Spellbinder Platinum 6 to help that foil really press, into the white cardstock. And when all is said and done, you will have a really fun, starry result. Look at how amazing that turned out. I love the little bit of holographic sparkle in this foil. And then you have that leftover piece that if you have a solid plate of any sort, you can do the reverse foiling. I'm going to show you some really cool results later on in the video that I did with that. Now, one quick tip for hot foiling. If you remove your plate and put it onto your glass mat, it disperses the heat much more quickly, so then you are able to put it away. Up next, we are going to use the 3D embossing folder to add some texture and dimension to the foiled panel. All I'm doing is taking some time to line up all of those little stars with the embossing folder. That helps the rest of the image align and fall into place. Now, one thing that I have noticed in my journey with 3D embossing folders is it's not a perfect science, and the great thing about it is this is handmade and not Hallmark. Now, the sandwich that I found worked best for this, for my Platinum 6, is plate A, and then your embossing folder, and then plate D. It's the same sandwich that they actually have printed on platform A, the platform base. So let's take a look at how this turned out and look at how fun adding that texture and dimension to the foiled panel is. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. Off camera, I went ahead and reverse foiled that leftover foil, and I also ran it through with the 3D embossing folder. And it is bold, it is bright, but I think it turned out so fun. So I'm going to speed up the video a little bit now. And we are going to use the coordinating stencils to ink blend in these fun like streamers. Now, I'm not using the stencil that has the stars because I foiled those in place of ink blending. But we are going to use the 3 stencils that ink blend all of those streamery ribbon effects. So I'm starting with a really dark shade of pink. I think that this image really can be colored in with lots of different color combos. I'm reaching for a little bit more of a girly, almost somewhat like an 80s, 90s vibe a little bit. Once we get to the end, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I think that the color combos are endless on this one. So there is the start of stencil, the first stencil with all of the streamers. And we are going to move on to the next stencil. I am just taking the time to align to those embossed lines that the 3D embossing folder created and then taping it down into place. So for the second set of ribbons or streamers, whatever you want to call those, I am using a really deep shade of turquoise. So I've got my start of all of my fun streamers. We have pink and turquoise together. Now, the reason why I'm wiping this down on camera is because when you wipe that down, it also wipes off any ink that might be on the foil that you did previously. So you really want that gold foil to shine. So by wiping down the stencil each time, it helps shine that back up, get any ink residue that might be left behind. Now, this is the final stencil with all of the ribbons and streamers. And for my final color, I am picking a really fun shade of purple. It's kind of a pinker tone of purple, so it really goes well with both that raspberry color that I used and then the turquoise that I used on the last one. And I cannot wait for you to see the big reveal after this stencil, because I feel like this looks like unicorn tails. Maybe that's why I love it so much. I loved unicorns and My Little Pony and all of that fun stuff when I was a kid. So I think that these colors really feel nostalgic. And then, of course, all of the gold stars and all of that fun stuff. So this is definitely a great card for a fellow friend from the 90s, or also a little girl or even a teen girl. So with the ink blending done, we'll set that aside because it is time to work on our sentiments. So I am using that A Star is Born sentiment. Now, you're going to see in the second part of stamping how we finish up this sentiment. But we're going to start by stamping this big main sentiment. We're going to heat emboss it with some gold. So I treated the cardstock with anti-static powder, stamped it a couple times with Versamark ink, and then covered it in some gold embossing powder. And I'm now heat setting it. And I don't care how many times I heat emboss, the results are always so magical. So we have our heat embossing done. So go ahead and put that back into your stamping platform. And then you'll notice there are a couple of words, is and was. And so for this one, because the person's already born, we're celebrating their birthday, I'm stamping in A Star Was Born. Now, make sure you take time to check it. I didn't love my first placement. So you'll notice I grabbed it again and realigned the placement, and that one was so much better. We're also going to grab the curved sentiment that says on this day, and it's really going to help bring this whole card together. I'm just going to stamp these in some nice onyx black VersaFine, just getting nice crisp black sentiments. And then look at how fun that two-stepped sentiment is with the A Star Was Born. Now, I wanted to also have that happy birthday sentiment that is included on the stamp set as well. Now, there are coordinating dies for all three of these sentiments, so I went ahead and cut them out, cut all three out, pardon me, and off camera, I actually did cut an extra piece for each sentiment to stack and make the sentiments a little bit more rigid. And look at how great that main sentiment cuts out. I love all the little details that it cuts out. All right, it is time to assemble our card. I trimmed the panel down and adhered it to an A2 size card base. I had just an extra star that I had cut from a previous card using the cover plate die for this set. So I just added that star to the front with some foam adhesive. Now I am putting the curved sentiment, and if you take your release paper off your foam strips, it makes it so you can a little bit more easily curve the foam to sentiments like that. So just a little tip. Now all of these sentiments I am popping up with thin foam strips. However, the first part of it does overlap with the star. So I just added a little bit of liquid glue there to just help keep it in place. Finally, we're going to tuck that little happy birthday sentiment right underneath it to finish off this fantastic, on this day, A Star Was Born, happy birthday. I just think that it turned out so fun. Now, I also die cut some of the stars from the coordinating Starstream sentiment die set. I cut some of the stars from some ivory glitter cardstock, and we are just going to place them here and there. I'm going to pop a couple up with foam dots, and then also just adhere a couple extra down with a little bit of liquid glue. And that is how my Starstream card came together. I went ahead and added a couple of glitter drops to help finish the card. I hope you enjoyed watching this card come to life, featuring the new Starstream collection by the Greetery. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all of the things, and you can find the Starstream product suite available online at the Greetery in their online shop. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.